The wait is over.
What's going on, guys? And we're back with the Davis Sports Feud, and I got my buddy Corey Sparks here.
Crossed up, definitely pushed by Paul George, but everything's a push these days.
I just don't think this offense is going to work very well, especially under a defensive coach like Robert.
But I would still probably take like Najee Harris over one of the wide receivers.
What is going on, guys? My name is Kyle Davis. This is the Davis Sports Feud, and we're finally back together. It has been a whole week before we've seen all three of us together. How are we doing, guys?
Good.
It's a good day. It's
Hey,
a good
you
day.
are,
you still want to take
Michigan.
Najee Harris over any of those wide receivers?
What was that? What was that for the AFC? Just for that division, right?
I think it was the division's fantasy.
Yeah, I would.
Early
I mean,
picks. It wasn't
I mean,
bad.
it's not. It's still not a bad take. I mean, you'd probably still. I mean, it was probably a hot take to say.
Didn't he put
Harris
up like
over
30
Chubb?
points last week? Not this previous week,
No,
but
2
the
weeks
week
ago.
prior.
Yeah, he had like 12 catches.
Yeah, he had the most receiving yards of anybody.
I don't remember if it was that division. I think the hot take was that I would take him over like Lamar Jackson or any of the
receivers.
positions.
It was any of the receivers
But
on the
yeah.
Steelers.
Was that supposed to be on the Steelers or
I
just
think it
the
was
division?
just on the Steelers. I think.
Oh,
it was
then
just
yeah,
on the Steelers.
I still stand by that.
Well,
That's a good question.
we had a hell of a weekend of football, but before we get to that, Tyler has a question for us. What do you got, bud?
Boys.
Okay.
First week of October, it's officially spooky season.
Woohoo.
So, since we are a podcast of hot takes, what is the most overrated and most underrated fall activity?
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say candy, and I was about to throw candy corn right in there.
Candy
Candy
corn was
corn
getting
is
thrown under the
ass.
bus immediately.
Oh, guys!
No,
Are
you're
you
not
really
one of
into
them.
candy
Don't do
corn?
that.
You're not
Don't
one
do
of
this to
them.
me.
Don't do
No.
that.
Candy
You're
corn
gone.
is
I
lovely.
can't have you.
Lovely.
Can't have you anymore.
I
He's
give
gone.
candy corn a shot once a year, and every year I'm like, this is ass. This isn't good.
Yeah, I don't even know why I keep giving it a shot.
Right.
That's how I
Okay.
feel about saltwater taffy.
All right, so
Overrated.
overrated and underrated.
Pumpkin picking is overrated because the underrated one is apple picking. Apple picking is far superior. It's so much better. You get apple cider donuts, some apple cider. Like you get what are you going to pump? You're going to go pick a big ass pumpkin and then go home. That's not fun. Those things are heavy. Pumpkin picking overrated, underrated apple picking. I have other reasons for apple picking, but it's a family show, so I can't say that.
I feel like the middle ground is still hitting haunted houses because I feel like that's properly rated.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yep.
I feel
Haunted houses is
I feel like
properly
none of us can cop out and say
Okay.
going to haunted houses.
No.
Okay, right. So my thing with haunted houses, you both are in very good committed relationships. I am not. So I have to navigate this whole, do you want to go to a haunted house? No, because I'm either going to sound like a little bitch or I might fight one of these actors. So I'm good with like gore and blood and like suspense and kill. No problem.
Don't
But
touch
jump
me.
in my face and I'm like a 12-year-old little schoolgirl. I get
Don't touch me.
terrified.
Don't
Yeah.
fucking touch me.
Don't get near me. Like,
Don't fucking touch me.
So
I'm gonna go with the overrated is costume contests.
ooh, that's a good one.
I'm not a big dress up and do costumes thing. Like I do them like if my fiance wants to do it.
Of course, naturally.
Yeah, so I'm going to dress up. I think it's overrated to do the whole costume contest because you're judging people on what they're wearing, that's such a high school type thing.
Okay, so are you like go to like a party that you're all dressing up in Halloween costumes? Not a contest, but like a Halloween party.
Yeah,
like the
I'll
difference-
do that.
Okay.
I'll do
Okay.
that. Like
Okay.
I eventually
yeah.
I don't know if you guys have seen, but I've been growing the back of my hair out a little bit, and I'm doing
Oh,
gonna
no.
do a Viking braid eventually.
Okay.
And I want to do that as like a good that would be a
I
good
like it.
costume.
That is.
but,
I like the dedication.
Yeah, for sure.
and
Aaron Rodgers level.
Right?
better than Aaron Rodgers.
Out. Get out. That man plans his Halloween costumes 6 months in advance, and 420. Love. Oh,
Did he
is so
throw another
calculated.
touchdown pass in that game? Is he sitting at 420 right now?
He threw 2, right? 3?
Oh damn!
I don't remember. I
I
don't
can check
remember.
his stat line quick while you
I
guys
don't
are
remember.
talking.
Okay, so what's your
underrated.
underrated?
Underrated. I feel like it's an activity I don't do, but like I want to do, like those corn mazes. Like if you're doing a haunted, instead of a haunted house, it's a little
Haunted
off
corn
of the beat.
maze?
Haunted corn maze, or just a corn maze in general.
I'm out. Because here's the thing: I don't know where these fuckers are coming in the corn maze. I know I know at the haunted house, they're in the walls, they're around the corner, they're in the coffin, they're on the surgery table popping up. I got that. I remember there was a corn maze in New Berlin.
Mhm.
And I remember I was like 14. So our friend, and we all in a group, and it was like one parent chaperoning. And I said, Mrs. Grady, I'm sorry, I'm about to cuss a storm out because I don't handle this well. And I remember there was people on the ground grabbing my leg, and I wanted to kick them. So I'm out on corn mazes. I'm in on corn mazes, out on haunted corn mazes.
That's fair. That's what my underrated one is, though. Tyler, what you
like
got?
it. Yeah,
well, so first of all, where's the fun in just doing a corn maze without
Getting lost for you're literally just getting lost for an hour.
That sounds excruciatingly terrible.
I'm sorry. Have you done it with a female?
Yes.
Have you gotten lost?
That seemed like a loaded question. Has he done it with a female? I feel like that's a little bit more loaded than what we're ready
Have you
for
done
here.
a corn
I am
maze
not.
with
I
a
am like
female?
Tim Tebow. I am saving myself for marriage.
That's fine. Okay. I'm
We have
just
a
saying.
virgin on the
I'm just
podcast.
saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm not gonna say anything more than that. But okay, fine, whatever. Shit on me.
Well,
Tyler's just
leaving you got? What do you
unfortunately,
got?
I'm not bringing a whole lot new to the table.
Okay.
Well, at least with the overrated. I do believe that any sort of like picking, so like apple picking, going to pumpkin patches is overrated, but not for the same reason that T-Bone thinks it's overrated. I honestly think it's just an activity that like women use as an excuse to go and put all their fancy pictures and crap on Instagram. I'm more just like, give me the pumpkin, get out, I can go carve it. Like, I'd almost rather just go get my pumpkin from like Pick and Save or Walmart than have to go to a freaking pumpkin patch, man, because it's always cold, it's
Right.
always crowded, like you have to take a million freaking pictures.
Yeah, I can't
hate
relate
the
to that.
Instagram
I can't relate to that. Can't relate to that.
Hate the Instagram generation.
Mm-hmm.
Really do.
I wonder if your guys' significant others watches the podcast. So that just so you guys understand, so you guys are just throwing yourselves under the bus.
Well,
Nah,
she's actually
not
looking
really.
to start her own like fitness podcast now that she launched her like website. So she was actually listening to ours to see how like
Smart.
we did it.
Oh
So-
God, that we are not the examples.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
follow.
no.
She, my fiance definitely does not watch our podcast. She doesn't like sports.
Yeah.
Well, false. That's the wrong statement. She doesn't like all sports.
I was gonna say Marissa really likes basketball, but she's not a big football person. So, which
Wasn't
is a
she really
shame.
good at volleyball too?
Yeah.
I was like, Marissa was good at sports. So.
She played at Greenfield and she played for Mount Mary. So.
Yes, I'm aware she played at Greenfield because we all went there and we were all in high school together. I'm well aware of that. Thank you, Tyler.
I also played volleyball at Greenfield.
What? That I did not know.
You didn't know that? I don't think you, were
the
in high
school I
school
teach
yet.
at doesn't have a men's volleyball team. There's actually a bunch of dudes who like actually really want to play, but Cudahy won't, or shouldn't say the name. But yeah, the school won't commission one.
Yo, I didn't know that's where you taught because I submitted an application to be their basketball coach.
You're also right down the road from where Megan teaches.
Wait, their men's basketball coach?
JV2.
Okay, yeah. Because I was about to say because I know the varsity coach because I'm now teaching in his old classroom.
Oh yeah, actually, completely unrelated. I took the Eisenhower job for the basketball job.
Oh,
so now I'm at Eisenhower.
Sorry. Underrated.
Yeah.
Watching horror
Sidetracked.
movies. Watching horror movies is now starting to get the love it is, but just staying in, binging like a really
He's
great
just a scaredy
movie
cat.
series.
It sounds like.
No,
Bingo.
underrated
I know.
activity. Underrated activity.
I'm pumped to see the new Michael Myers though.
So am I. Even though it's
There's a lot of
Are
movies.
you?
There's a lot of
'cause
movies
You're like
I'm
a
excited to
horror.
see.
You're like a horror guru. Are you actually, or you think it's gonna be ass?
Oh, I'm very fearful because like when that new Halloween came out, I was really, really high on it. But like every subsequent viewing and every conversation I've had with my friends who are really big horror movie buffs, like I've kind of gone down on the film like progressively. So I'm really curious because especially with the trailer looking like really over the top, I am kind of concerned that it's kind of going to get a little hokey. But I'm still very excited because Halloween is my favorite movie of all time. And I rewatch the Halloween franchise every year. So
I'm much more. I'm good on. I'm fine with watching like slasher films. Those I'm good on because I can deal with killing and stuff like that. It's the jumping out, like.
So you can't do jump scares at all, like with
No.
like The Conjuring or Insidious or stuff like that.
Hell no. I went and saw Venom this past weekend on Friday.
Ooh,
Oh, was it good?
10 out of 10. It
Yes.
perfect. It was.
Was it better than the first one? Because the first one was not good. Like I
First
do not
one was
like that
good.
first Venom movie.
I don't know. Like I really like that they did it to an hour and a half. It didn't give us too much. It gave us a very simple storyline. You knew what was going to happen. I mean, for the most part, some people are going to say too simple. It was. I mean, what do you want in a Venom movie? You want Venom and Eddie Brock going back and forth.
Well, if
Like,
anything, I think that's what
hilarious.
held the first film back. It's
Right.
it's trying to add too much and be too complicated
Right.
with its plotting. I'm like, just have Tom Hardy and Venom have fun.
Which was much more prevalent. And I mean, Cletus is fine. Woody Harrelson was great as a creepy dude. Like,
Yeah.
very simple storytelling. So yeah, I think it improved on being more simplistic and
I'm just
playing
scared
on its
because I don't
strengths.
even think Woody Harrelson, like with how good of an actor is, he
gonna
can't
put
like
this here.
upend that like '90s Spider-Man Cletus Cassidy. Like that dude was
Ooh.
a psychopath,
I'm
and like
just
that's
gonna
what I
put
think
this
of when I
here.
think of
Yeah.
Carnage.
That's fair.
So, all right,
gonna-
not a
I'm
movie
I'm
podcast.
just
Sorry,
gonna put
Davis.
this here.
Whatever, man. Whatever.
We'll
We talked
start
about what
that
we
movie
want.
podcast if
We're
we
not
want.
even
We're
10
almost
minutes in. We
15
talked
minutes
about
into
what we
the
want.
episode. We
10,
haven't said anything about sports.
15. It's 8. Look at the live tracker. 8 minutes. Don't want to hear it.
Don't yell at me.
We started late too. Don't want to
You
hear
scared me. You're scaring me.
Why
All
is
right.
my phone
There was a
3
lot of
minutes
football
off?
played over this weekend. Granted, I do want to give a quick shout out because tomorrow you're going to see this face. You're going to also see that face and
While
one
driving.
other face. While
While
driving.
driving.
Impressive. Don't crash.
Very
Because
safe.
that would make really interesting content for this podcast.
That's why we're audio podcast. That would make interesting content. Oh, our co-host has crashed. Guys, I'm fine. I got this. I can report still. I'm fine.
I don't know. I really don't think Wisconsin.
That's what you get for talking about Wisconsin. It'll be me, T-Bone, and Keith on tomorrow's episode of our college version of the Davis Sports Feud. I'm really excited. We weren't able to bring it to you last week, but we will be bringing it to you tomorrow. But it will normally come out on Thursdays, and we'll throw in some fantasy football talk on those as well for stardom and sit-ems and waiver wire pickups and stuff like that. But for last weekend's games, there was a lot of action, starting off with Thursday's game, which was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I thought the Bengals were going to run away with it. Jaguars traveled to Cincinnati. Joe Burrow had a really good game. I don't want to call it a coming out party, but he really is starting to gain steam. He's got a lot of weapons with Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase, and
T.
Joe
Higgins.
Mixon in the backfield. They have a lot of weapons on that offense, and that defense doesn't look as bad as we thought. Granted, it's against this Jaguars team, but the Bengals defeated the Jaguars 24-21. Anybody have anything to say about this game at least?
I'm happy James Robinson finally got me some freaking fantasy points.
Yeah,
That's about all. I gotta
yeah.
say.
I was gonna say the only really bright spot is, I mean, Burrow almost throwing for 350, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
He came from behind. I mean, yeah, like it was against the Jags, but these are the steps I expected Joe Burrow to take, and I'm happy to see after his injury last year. You see him making that next progression of being the next, like, we talked about a lot in the preseason. Year 2 to year 3, he can make a massive jump, and I mean, we're seeing Herbert make the big jump from 1 to 2. You're seeing Burrow do it from 1 to 2. I'm just glad because I was really upset about Burrow's injuries last year, but I think the real story, his knee injury.
Burrow's doing exactly what I wish Carson Wentz would have did coming off his injury.
But what do you mean?
So Carson Wentz never was right after that injury. He was always
Right.
kind of just average, always looked a little skittish in the pocket. Never really was comfortable in the pocket and throwing a ball, especially throwing the ball deep. Like Burrow looks like he's not as deterred by his leg injury as Carson Wentz was.
So do you? I think so. I mean, I had my own knee injuries and multiple surgeries. I know it was. I never actually tore my ACL, thankfully, but I had 6 knee surgeries. It was so much more of a mental thing coming back.
Yeah.
It looks like Burrow's playing with no fear, where it looks like Carson Wentz is still playing with that fear. So I totally understand what you're saying, and I don't know. Does that just mean Joe Burrow's more mentally tough?
Probably.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
It is.
Oh, Carson Wentz is incredibly weak mentally, like 100%.
The guy hunts ducks.
Yeah.
Not even deer. He hunts ducks.
So, quick question for you guys. How bad is this Jaguars team?
They're not that bad. They're very poorly
No.
coached.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that makes a team very bad. Like you can have a really good team, but with a bad coach, it can fall apart in an instant.
Okay.
Well, explain the Cardinals. Like,
No,
Yeah,
we're not
best
doing
coach in
that.
the
We're not doing
best
that.
coach in the
We're
NFL. I don't know what
Not
you're
yet.
talking
Can we
about.
at least get to that team? Jesus.
Best coach in the NFL. So I guess
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist.
okay. So we can all agree that we think the Jets, the Giants, and the Jags are the 3 worst teams, right?
Yeah.
I would take
Houston.
I still think Houston could win more games than the 3 of them.
I've seen Houston because
especially if Tyrod Taylor plays.
They have more veterans than young teams, where the other 3 teams are so much younger.
Yeah.
Whereas the Texans are the written off veteran team, which is fine, but they're going to win at probably 2-3 games. They put up 38 points with Tyrod Taylor. Like they have capable weapons. Brandon Cooks is still young, which is wild to think about.
He's been in the league for quite a while. Played for like 4 teams already.
Yeah, and he's still like 29.
Yeah,
that's not that young. Like,
but it's not
for
that
a
old
receiver?
either.
It's not that old.
It's not that old.
He's not a running back.
Right.
I
I understand, but I think he also. That's not my point I'm trying to make. I think with those 3 teams, I really don't want anything to do with the Giants, like personnel wise.
I still think the Giants are the worst team in the NFL.
I think the Jags have the better team than the Jets, but the Jets have the better coaching staff. I'd much rather have Robert Saleh than I would Urban Meyer. As
100%.
example of what happened.
Yeah.
This weekend.
Are we going to talk about that real quick?
Is that the only like that? What else can we talk about? Like
the fact that only one player on their team is above 200 receiving yards through 4 games.
Yeah, I mean
that's a scheme thing. That's just like your Eagles not running the ball. It's a scheme thing. It's not like they have Laviska Shenault, DJ Shark, like they have Trevor Lawrence, James.
They
Robinson.
do not have DJ Shark anymore.
He's out
torn ACL, I think.
Okay, but when was that?
Hear that?
That was this week.
I'm just saying they had weapons. So for none of them to have over 200 yards, even James Robinson, they should have had something.
James Robinson has more rushing yards than anybody has receiving yards on this team.
That's
238 rushing yards to Marvin Jones's 218 receiving yards.
I forgot Marvin Jones was on that team.
That's very true. Are we going to talk about the elephant in the room with the Jaguars? What Urban Meyer decided instead of going back to Jacksonville with his team, he ended up going to a club and
his own bar. I might point.
And he had a co-ed on his lap, and he did the little boop.
He literally stuck 2 fingers and just
right up there.
I saw the first video. I was like,
so cringy.
Right. I saw the first video of her just dancing. I'm like, that's a bad look.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw the side angle from Ass and Titty's Snapchat story. I saw it on Twitter. I don't follow Ass and Titty's Snapchat story. I would like to point that out.
T-Bone just sold himself out, boy.
I'm just saying. I saw it on Twitter.
T-Bone's a simp on Snapchat.
Hey, No, I'm not a Discord. No, I'm not a Discord guy. Now get the fuck out of here. And then I saw it, and he's just over there, and he just goes, and I'm like, "What are you do? What are you doing?"
Whoa, Jesus.
That's what he did. He went,
100%.
Like, Urban, what? You have a wife and kids. If he was just a single dude,
he might not anymore. Well, he might not have a wife anymore.
Okay, if you were like before Sean McVay had his hot ass smoking wife or girlfriend, whatever. If you saw a single coach out there doing that, do you think anything of this?
No.
If he's a single coach,
no.
Or if they were winning, if they were 1-3 or 2-2, do you think anything of this?
Well, I mean, when the story with Robert Kraft came out about him, attending, happy ending massage parlors, like Patriots are a winning organization, he still got a lot of crap for that.
Yeah, but he's still the owner. It's not like
it's not like something that follows him.
Yeah, that's true. We should probably move on from this game. Tyler, you're up with the next game.
Okay, so we had disappointingly a game that seemed winnable for the Eagles coming in. The offense was actually moving. The ball was being run more than last week, but still not as much as I'm sure a lot of Eagles fans would like. But unfortunately, when the only way you get the Chiefs to give up the ball on offense is through one interception and the rest is touchdowns, like you're going to lose games. So the Chiefs beat the Philadelphia Eagles 42-30, led by a pretty good Jalen Hurts performance, but the Chiefs were just able to gash the Eagles defense on the ground and through the air. Tyreek Hill had almost 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. Clyde Edwards-Helaire threw up a 100-yard game. A really good all-around offensive performance by Andy Reid's Kansas City Chiefs team. So
Did I hear that correctly? Did he say that the Eagles had to look like they should be able to win this game?
He did say that, and I don't know why.
There were a few times, and to be honest, like if I'm going to mention anything about the Eagles, I did not expect penalties to be the thing that would be killing this team this year.
No, kicking field goals was the problem for the Eagles in this game. They didn't kick they kicked field goals instead of going for touchdowns.
Well,
I mean,
they drove down to the 3.
I mean, you had 3 touchdowns negated.
Real
penalties.
Realistically, did anyone think the game would have been 21-13 at half? Because I didn't.
No, I didn't either. I didn't even think the Eagles would have a chance of covering the spread, much less being in the game.
Did they cover the spread?
I don't know.
I don't remember what the spread for this game was.
It was probably around 10. I mean,
can find out.
I don't know. I mean, this was a typical Chiefs performance where their offense is just better and their defense is going to give up points.
Yeah.
This is standard Chiefs. Team.
I didn't think the Eagles would win that game, but partway through, if they would have managed to steal one, it wouldn't have been the most surprising thing with watching the tape.
Kansas City covered. It was 6.5, and the over hit by a mile.
Yeah, it was
the
probably
over
around
under
50.
was 55.
So,
yeah, I was like, it's probably 50 something.
So I guess Davis, with you being an Eagles fan, are you more or less confident in Jalen Hurts now after that Chiefs game than you were with the
same? The
About
same
the same,
confidence,
really?
mainly because the Chiefs' defense, especially their secondary, is not that good.
Okay.
Yes, you have the Honey Badger back there, but other than that, they don't have a great secondary. So I have to see them against a capable defense. Obviously, what is his name for the Cowboys? Trayvon Diggs.
Yeah,
he is looking like a stud. So I mean, I still am going to say Jalen Hurts I'm okay with. The coaching, terrible. And when we start saying that we were talking about rookie head coaches, I'm still sticking that Nick Sirianni is probably going to be the first rookie head coach fired because he can't game plan properly at all.
Well, I don't even think it's the game plan. I think it's the discipline issues. You're the most penalized team in the NFL through 4 weeks.
That too. And that still goes through the head coach because you're supposed to be teaching discipline in your practices and it's supposed to show up on game day.
Well,
but the thing is they still, I think they've ran the ball the least amount of times in the entire NFL. And you're supposed to have one of these really good running backs in Miles Sanders. And I think Gainwell, the backup, is out rushing Miles Sanders right now.
I think he's just got more yards and more touches because of the passing game, not him actually getting being handed the ball,
which is fair. But they also can't keep an offensive line healthy to save their life,
and that's been a problem for a number of years, ever since the Super Bowl, honestly. And even during the Super Bowl year, they lost Jason Peters, they lost who was the left guard? No, Wisniewski played, but I forgot who left.
I don't
was
know.
there before.
Regardless, I think my biggest takeaway from this game is Tyreek Hill is still really fucking good.
Oh God, he's so fast.
He is so fast.
Oh my God.
There's only a couple players that even come close to his speed. John Ross, Marquise Goodwin when he's healthy, and
but they're not good. He's an elite receiver though.
Oh, 100%.
And he's fast.
Yeah, he's an elite route runner as well as just a burner. But I'm saying there's the only people that are close to him is a world-renowned track star,
right?
Because Marquise Goodwin was an Olympian. I think he was an Olympian, wasn't he?
I think he went to the Olympic trials.
Yeah,
or he qualified for the trials. I believe.
So I'll say that the Eagles overperformed. So I am impressed that they put up 30 points and kept it kind of close in this game. But all in all, it's still the Chiefs moving on. I will say that the Chiefs did what they were supposed to do on offense. They were supposed to torch this secondary. The only really good player in this secondary for the Eagles is Darius Slay.
And he's bad.
Rodney. I mean, he's fresh off injury, but
Right.
Rodney's been a consistently good safety.
So I mean, we can. I'm totally fine with moving on because otherwise we're only going to be doing reviews.
Some of the Eagles in a loss.
Got the bias. I'm sorry.
Yes. All right. So T-Bone, you got the next one.
All right. Washington football team against the Atlanta Falcons. I don't got much to take away because Atlanta put up good numbers. My biggest thing is that the Washington football team have a guy at quarterback. Taylor Heineke actually looks like a very good quarterback, throwing for almost 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, no turnovers. I mean, he led the team. I mean, he's great. I love Taylor. He's great.
My only takeaway is that I'm going to say this for fantasy. Cordero Patterson. Holy shit.
Weirdo.
Holy shit.
What a weirdo player he is.
He is, but he is marked as a running back in ESPN and I think Yahoo as well.
I thought he was both.
He can be both, but my God, the man put up like damn near 40 points. He had my internet strikes finally. Five receptions for 82 yards, 3 touchdowns. 6 rushes, 34 yards.
Imagine losing in fantasy because of Cordero Patterson.
Imagine starting Cordero Patterson.
I did this week.
Yeah, the guy I played started him too. I almost lost because of fucking Cordero Patterson.
Ooh, I won on literally the last 2 minutes of that game last night. That's how I won.
Also, Scary Terry decided to have a great game.
Thank you.
Happy for him.
6 receptions, 123 yards, and 2 tutties. So I mean,
I got him in all 3 of my fantasy leagues. So very happy with
Falcons continue to lose as we projected.
Can we now crown them the 2020 Chargers?
No,
because they lose at the end of multiple games this year so far.
No.
Yeah,
no?
The Falcons are exactly what I hoped they wouldn't be. Like, I thought that, they had their bad string of luck last year, lost a lot of close games, just kind of seems to be the curse of the Falcons, man.
And maybe it's just the Falcons are bad.
Moving on. Anything else, guys?
No, okay. I don't really think. I mean, do you got Texans-Bills next? Is that
I do. This one won't take long at all.
Oh, wow.
The Houston Texans traveled to Buffalo and forgot to show up. Buffalo's defense is still elite, in my opinion. Granted, it is against the Texans, but to pitch a shutout against any NFL team is still impressive.
5 turnovers.
40-0 with 5 turnovers. Davis
How about
Mills,
that Bills defense, baby?
4 interceptions. He only threw for 87 yards.
Jeez. Still more than Justin Fields 2 weeks ago.
True. Very true.
So sad.
I mean, what else do you got to say? Like, I don't.
Yeah.
The offense showed up. The offense showed up of the Bills. The defense showed up of the Bills. Houston stayed in Houston. I got nothing else to say unless you guys got something.
Nope.
No, and I'd rather not. So
that's fair. Tyler.
Yes.
You got the next one.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. All right. So NFC North matchup here. Justin Fields does get the starting nod for the Bears, and he goes on to get his first win in the NFL by bouncing back to beat the winless Detroit Lions. The bite and kneecap strategy doesn't seem to work. David Montgomery had a hell of a game for the Bears. It looks like he may have suffered a pretty serious injury towards the end, which is quite unfortunate for him and his fantasy owners. But the Bears finally got it done. Hopefully Justin Fields continues to grow. And God, I feel bad for those Lions, man.
See, the thing is with Justin Fields, he played like a rookie. He didn't wow us. He only threw the ball 17 times. He completed 11 of those for 209 yards. He got a few really good downfield passes to Darnell Mooney. He did throw 1 pick. Instead of, does this say he had a sack for 24 yards?
I don't know. I see that too.
Holy shit. He didn't play poorly, though, and he played how he was supposed to play. He was supposed to have the run game get going, and he was supposed to play off of the run game, get the play action going, get pushing downfield, because that's what he is successful at, is pushing the ball downfield. He's got a big arm, and Darnell Mooney, I think, is going to start turning into a consistent number 2 on this Bears team. But other than that, I don't have much to say, because these are going to be 2 bottom-dwelling teams in the NFC North.
I mean, I disagree that he did what he was supposed to do. Like, I think he made some good throws, but I think he was underwhelming. You don't trade up and draft a guy at 11 to have him be a game manager. Like, he needs to like, let's face it, if you're not competing with Aaron Rodgers in that division, what's the point? Like, yeah, sure, Kirk Cousins looks like an MVP caliber player as of through 4 weeks. Like Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers. Sure, he's. I mean, I don't know if I would take him or Goff at this point. Like,
I mean, can we call a player an MVP caliber player if he's on a 1-3 team? Like,
yeah, because he's played like an MVP, but it's his defense and a missed field goal, and he's.
Who are we
coaching
talking about?
Kirk
Kirk
Cousins.
I don't think he's an MVP candidate.
Look at his stats. He's top 5 in almost every category for the NFL.
Yeah, but they don't
just
care.
saying like based on stats alone. Like,
based on stats alone.
That's fair.
Yeah. No. 1-3. You're right. Like, I'm not saying he needs to be in the conversation. And I mean, he had a pedestrian. He had a pedestrian game, but he still threw a touchdown. We'll get to it. But I mean, you don't draft a guy like Justin Fields, who was such a dynamic player at Ohio State, to rely on David Montgomery. You expect him to be Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers.
He also is a rookie in his first or his second game starting.
But we've seen rookies like take off and look really good. Look at Justin Herbert.
We've seen Herbert. We've seen Burrow flash it last year. We saw Lamar Jackson. We saw Patrick Mahomes damn near immediately.
Well, Patrick Mahomes,
but he had the year. He had the year.
But
okay, fine. You saw Trey Lance come in yesterday, and he lit it up. And or not yesterday, this weekend, in spell of an injured Garoppolo. So I'm just like, I expected more out of Justin Fields. I expected the offense to revolve around him rather than David Montgomery. Montgomery looks fantastic.
That's coaching.
I also think it's a smarter strategy. Like if you're going to baptize your quarterback in fire, you might as well make it as easy as you can on him, right?
Yeah. So, they won the game though.
And that's all that matters.
Managed the game and he won the game. And maybe they're going to open up the playbook a little bit more. But we've already heard Matt Nagy say that Andy Dalton's still QB1.
Yeah,
which is
ridiculous.
Yeah, I still didn't think that Matt Nagy had a chance to be fired, but the way he's handling this situation is just terrible.
But also, Justin Fields hasn't come out and set the world on fire and commanded that he's the starter. I mean, they looked a lot better in the first half than they did in the second half. They didn't score in the fourth quarter at all. They were up, I think 21-0, 14-0, and they only scored 10 points after that and let Detroit fight back come back, and at least make it a game in the second half. So if Justin Fields comes out and beats him by 3 touchdowns and throws 2 touchdowns for 250 and he still doesn't have, I don't think he has a passing touchdown in the NFL. He's only had one okay start last week. I just expected more. I mean, everyone thought, okay, Bears got a good quarter, they got a solid guy. And he started for 2 weeks and looked bad last week, and then 2 weeks ago and this past week looked mediocre.
We also have to look around that team and look around and realize how bad that offensive line is.
Okay, but they have a good running back.
Players aren't very good.
Allen Robinson and
Darnell Mooney are pretty good.
Cole Kmet's not bad either.
And they have one of the better running backs in the league.
Yeah, so I think you can find a worse.
Are we calling David Montgomery one of the better running backs in the league?
No, I think he's top. I think he's top half than the bottom half.
Yeah. I'd say top, lower top half at best.
Yeah, 10 to 15.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't think that's going to be
I don't think anyone's.
It's not like Dak Prescott getting Zeke Elliott.
No, but they came in together, so
yeah.
He also has the 5th most rushing yards, and he's tied for 4th in touchdowns. So he's top half.
He's an underrated. He's an underrated player.
Yeah.
And this just might be my Bears hatred being biased, but I he had some good throws, but I don't think he was consistent enough in those good throws. I mean, he did only throw the ball 17 times, which
correct.
I'm expecting a guy like Justin Fields, who, like I said, was so hyped, throwing it 20 plus, 25 plus times, like they do with Burrow or Lawrence, and I mean, I think Trey Lance came in and had more passing attempts.
He had the same, I think.
And he played what? 3 quarters, 2 quarters,
2.5 quarters.
I don't know when Garoppolo went out. I didn't watch the game.
I did not catch that
I
game
don't know.
either.
I mean, we can move on.
Moving on to the next game. T-Bone, you got this one.
Yes, I do. So this was actually kind of a surprise. I thought coming in last week this was going to be a pretty solid game. Carolina Panthers against the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys offense is still rolling hot. They win 36-28. I think both of these teams came in and they have defenses that surprised a lot of people. I think they're both 3-1 at this point.
Yep.
Sam Darnold has 4 touchdowns on the day, 2 rushing, 2 throwing.
He has 5 rushing touchdowns.
I was about to
this
say,
year.
isn't he leading the league in rushing touchdowns?
I
He's
believe
got to
so.
be up there.
Like,
I believe he's leading the league in rushing touchdowns.
So Sam Darnold looks to be like a new player, which is what I personally was hoping for. It looks like he's being able to use his youth and his athleticism that he never was in New York. And I mean, yeah, they still lost by 12, and I mean, I think the Cowboys still obviously have the better offense.
That is not
but-
12, my friend.
What?
That is not 12. They lost by 8.
Oh, my bad. Okay, I
You're
thought
good.
it, my bad. My
You're
bad.
good.
My bad. I was.
You're
Oh,
totally
I
good.
know. I
Just
scrolled
giving
down.
you shit.
I scrolled down. Yeah, I scrolled down and I saw the Bears 24, and the Cowboys 36. I was just looking at it. I was like, oh yeah, no, you're right. That's 8.
So
Yeah,
I think the Cowboys' rushing yards were eye-popping in this game.
God, it's so annoying. I benched Zeke this week.
oops.
Yeah, well, I still won, so it's fine.
Roughly-
but yeah, that was annoying.
Roughly 210 yards rushing between Zeke and Tony Pollard. A touchdown from Zeke. 4 passing touch. This was almost a Jameis Winston passing performance. 188 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Dak Prescott does look like he is the real deal, as much as that pains me to say. I'm still saying Sam Darnold is going to continue to be a good quarterback with the Panthers.
Yeah.
I think he really needs Christian McCaffrey to come back, because Chuba Hubbard, he was serviceable, but he was not.
He was
no
like Mike
Christian
Davis
McCaffrey.
last year. He was like
Yeah.
Mike Davis. He's
Yeah.
Chuba Hubbard's a good player. So was Mike Davis, but they're not Christian McCaffrey.
100%. I mean, and DJ Moore is continuing to prove that he is worth a number 1 nod, not Robbie Anderson, which ever since a certain someone said that Robbie Anderson should start somewhere, he has not been playing very well.
Oh, are we really gonna get me out? That's the hot take that we're gonna take. That I said start Robbie Anderson.
Yeah.
Also, we need to
because
talk
you've
about
been
one
annoyingly
thing.
accurate on all your other takes this year. So
I do want to say one thing real quick. So last week we were talking about Cisco's question with Rob Gronkowski, if he should trade him, and then immediately gets hurt.
That's not on us.
No,
we're
that's not
gonna
on
look-
us, but
that's not on us.
I hung out with
We're
him
not
the
gonna
other
wish
day. He
injury.
was like, a certain podcast decided to tell me to keep Rob Gronkowski, and I was like, that's not my fault. He got hurt.
That was a consensus pick too. We all
Yeah, it was
had
all
that.
of us. It was all
I,
of us.
I mean, outside of injury, like it was the smart move, and injury happened. So
Yeah.
So,
So moving
I
on
mean,
to do you guys got anything else on this
I
one?
mean, it was a surprisingly good game. I mean,
Yeah.
so I think the Panthers are beginning to take that next step to actually being I don't think I think I predicted them right around 500, and they're probably going to be right around there, 10-7 or so, 9-8. So
Yeah.
rule
I think
I like it.
I think we're going to start cruising on some of these games, because I don't think a lot is
I
to
don't
be
care
said
about
about
that
quite a
game.
few
I don't
games.
care about that game. I don't care about any of these games until my
The
game.
3:30
So,
window, until like the 3:30 window hits.
Mhm.
The Colts went to Miami and they looked pretty good. I mean, the Dolphins looked pretty bad, because the Dolphins have looked pretty bad ever since Tua went down, and even before Tua went down, they've looked pretty bad. Unfortunately, my rookie of the year pick is not looking nearly as good as I thought it was going to look. Jalen Waddle's still serviceable, but 3 receptions for 33 yards is definitely not rookie of the year numbers.
Brandon, I have Devontae Smith.
I want to say the biggest
Slim
breakout
Reaper.
player, I don't really know if you can call him a breakout player, because he played fairly well last year, is Jonathan Taylor with 103 yards and a tutty.
a breakout for him this year because he hadn't played well up until that
No.
game.
Yeah.
But
He was
I
very
think,
disappointing being a top 12 fantasy pick or so.
Mhm.
Yep.
And Naheem Hines got hurt, so it looks like they might hang on to Marlon Mack a little bit longer, just because they're going to need a backup running back. But I mean, anything more than that, I got nothing else on this game. It was not a great game to watch.
Colts
No,
won a
Carson-
game they needed
yeah.
to win.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, is the AFC South like one of the worst divisions in football?
I think it
Yeah.
is the worst division in
Yeah.
football now. Like,
After the Titans lost, yeah, you got to think it's got to be one of the worst.
Oh yeah. By the way, congratulations, Matt. Good on you. You're going to the Super Bowl.
Whatever, dude. That kid is.
Did you see that
insufferable.
post he made?
Yeah, I did. The kid is
one win, and he's going to the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah,
So I think
Next
Tyler's
game.
got the next one. This game
Yeah.
was another snooze fest.
weird.
all right,
Weird.
so Stefanski makes his triumphant return to Minneapolis and uses his Very effective run game to trounce the Minnesota Vikings 14-7.
Which, I mean,
I don't think the Browns are that good, guys.
I think they're winning ugly. I think they're a normal.
They run the
AFC,
ball and play good defense. Like,
yeah, they're an AFC North, like the picturesque AFC North football team. Like,
and that's fine. But like when they crowned and did they pay Baker Mayfield? They give him a contract, right?
No, it'll be after this year, I believe.
Okay, well, the way he's playing, I don't know if he's warranting a big contract. Yes, he's better than all of the previous quarterbacks that they've been trotting out there for the last 10 years.
If it's not broke, don't fix it.
That's true. You have two really good running backs, but you still have, well, they don't have Jarvis for a little bit, but you have Kareem Hunt, you have Nick Chubb, you still have Odell Beckham, who looks like he's still pretty good. He's definitely coming down from last week.
Oh, they still have Austin Hooper. He's more of a top half of the league tight end.
Mm-hmm.
I think they need to get another wide receiver. I think Odell's washed. I don't think Odell's good.
I don't think he's washed, but I definitely think he has dropped well below that middle mark. God damn it.
Yeah.
He's definitely dropped well below that middle mark. I think the offense of Minnesota should be really good. It's just not. You have really good receivers in Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. And even that tight end has been looking, I mean, he had 4 receptions for 18 yards, but like the week prior when they were lighting up the scoreboard, all 3 of those have been playing well. And Alexander Madison and Dalvin Cook combined for 54 yards rushing, which is
that's the defense. Well, that's the defense of the Browns, like we said, but also Cook was coming off injury. Like, that's why they split so much. I think Madison had 10, 11 carries or something.
Yeah, they split more carries.
Yeah, he had more carries. So I'm like,
Dalvin's also coming off an injury.
Right. You didn't get full Dalvin Cook. The Browns had to stop Madison and Cook, or a 50% Dalvin Cook and Kirk Cousins. I mean, as much as I think Kirk Cousins is having MVP numbers, he's still Kirk Cousins. He's not going to win the game. Like,
right.
So
let's see who gets the next game.
That'd be
I think it's T-Bone.
All right. What a great game. The New York Giants beat the New Orleans Saints 27-21.
Sad.
Sad.
I mean, Kenny Galladay finally had a game worth his contract. Kamara looked good. Didn't have a catch in the passing game at all, which is weird. Daniel Jones decided to say, I'm a man. 400 yards, 2 touchdowns.
I am a man.
Right. I don't know. Hey, I will say Saquon had a 50-yard touchdown. It was a catch, but he did have a 50-yard touchdown.
I was a week late.
Yep.
It's just a week late.
Thank you, Saquon. Adding to my 180-point win in fantasy.
Who did we tell? Who did we tell that? Or who did I tell that should have started Chuba Hubbard over Saquon? Sorry.
Oh, I don't know.
God, I hope they didn't listen to you.
It was one of my 2 co-hosts, or not co-hosts, my guests on Sunday's show. I can't remember if it was Corey or Matt.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think it was both bad teams. I don't know.
I don't think this is a sign of things to come for the Giants. I think this is an anomaly. I don't
maybe a good thing. Maybe a good thing for Daniel Jones.
Maybe Saquon.
Yeah, I mean, I think it gets some of their star players back, like on the right path. But I don't think this changes their destiny of their team this year.
I'll say one thing: it looks real good for their rookie receiver to do as well as he did in this game. For the Giants, Kadarius Toney. It's good to see that he's a good player. They have a lot of fast receivers, not great route runners, but they have really fast receivers. And past that, I mean, the Saints continue to start tumbling down, and I don't think they're that great of a team either. I think they have the capabilities, and until Michael Thomas comes back, they're going to continue to look this anemic on offense.
It's looking more and more like, they were just able to take advantage of a Packers team that wasn't ready. And
Packers?
Because of that game, they overvalued them. Yeah. Week one.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying, though.
Yeah.
We have a strong lack of comments today.
Yeah.
We have no comments yet, which is really weird.
Nobody wants to play with me.
Moving on to the next game is, I would say, is this the biggest surprise of the weekend?
Yeah, I think by default, like,
not a lot of
Yeah.
big surprises happened, but moving on to this game, the Tennessee Titans went to MetLife and
Lost.
to the
Derrick Henry
Jets.
still had a game. Like Derrick Henry,
A game from hell too.
Yeah. Oh boy, that was a great game for him.
33, 157, and a touchdown. Like goodness.
I understand the story. A lot of people are saying the story is Zach Wilson had his coming out game. He played very well. Corey Davis had his fucking revenge game.
Yeah, I was just about to say that too.
111 yards
Corey
and a
Davis
tutty.
went in and
111 yards and a
Yeah.
tutty. Jamison Crowder looks like he's a very capable wide receiver as well, coming off of injury in the slot. 7 receptions for 61 yards and a tutty as well. I think like the Jets do have weapons. They just, if they can get a running game going, they can actually get this offense going, because that's one thing that they have not been able to get going at all is their run game, because they have capable passer. He's got a big arm. He's got to reel it in a little bit every once in a while, but they have decent weapons in Corey Davis, Jamison Crowder, and even to an extent Keelan Cole, but not really,
Right.
because he's not going to consistently put up the numbers he did. But we also need to remember that Tennessee was rolling without Julio Jones and without A.J. Brown. So
Yeah, but their offense isn't made around their wide receivers, so I don't really like. It's Derrick Henry. Like I don't know.
Cisco forgot this is a show about football, but
we're a sports podcast. Actually,
we are a sports podcast. So that is the big thing with baseball right now is the wild card game is about to start, has started, is
pish posh, whatever.
oh my god, dude.
They have not started yet.
Yeah, I think it starts at like 7:15 or something.
Yeah.
7. Okay.
But
Anything else?
I
I don't really care about this game.
No, not really.
Okay, great. Because I love this next
fuck
game.
me.
Great.
God damn it. How did
so,
this
okay.
rotation get him?
So I just want to say if we can talk, because I got to leave in 10. So if we talk about this game and the Packer game, and then you guys can wrap it up.
All
Whatever.
right, cool. I'm gonna bow out for a little bit. You
so
go
I'm just
off,
gonna say,
King.
here we go. I am the greatest predictor of sports ever invented, because the only team left that's undefeated is my Arizona Cardinals. I even self-admittedly said I don't see the Cardinals scoring more than like 20-some, maybe 31 points. They hanged a 37 bomb on these LA Rams. So, Kyler, oh god, I just love it. It was great. It was so fun to watch. I wanted to talk shit in like the third quarter. I was like, I don't know. It was still kind of close. And then we took over. So I'm a big fan. I think Cardinals, you have to say the Cardinals are legit. Like, you have to, right? I am what I am, man. Just check mark it.
Are you done already? I was giving you the floor for a good 2 minutes.
No. I mean, I can't say Kyler Murray's the best player in the NFL more than one time. Like, the defense that everyone doubted
many different
is
ways, though.
Legit. Chandler Jones, J.J. Watt, they are legit. Isaiah Simmons looks legit. I just love this football team. I'm glad we're undefeated. I'm officially a Cardinals fan. What's
Better
up?
go get a jersey, dude.
I thought about it, and I swear, but I'll let you know right now, if it's Cardinals, Packers, NFC Championship game, I'm rooting for the Packers. So I'm going to make that clear right now.
Man, would that
right
be
now.
a great championship game?
That would be great.
Oh,
That'd be a repeat of what the
2000.
No. 2000,
they played a couple times
twice.
in the playoffs.
The Cardinals beat the Packers to go to their Super Bowl against the Steelers.
Didn't they beat them twice?
Yep.
That was when the toe touch, and then the Cardinals Larry Fitzgerald overtime game.
Yeah, that's what it was.
So,
to talk about the
I
other
was going to
team,
call it the Jeff Janis
Hail Mary.
Hail Mary game.
Somebody want to remind me who said this? Because I don't remember anybody saying this.
No one, because it still didn't happen.
They played well, but we'll get to that game, Cisco.
Yeah.
We'll get to it.
Yeah.
Good luck
so
to your Red Sox.
Yeah, what do you guys got to say about this Cardinals-Rams game?
I will say that the Rams are still one of the elite teams in the NFL.
That's fine.
But there is a very large shortcoming to this team, and that is their run game or lack thereof. Matthew Stafford is a great quarterback, but he cannot do it without a running game. Just like nobody can really do it without a running game unless your name's Patrick Mahomes
Or Tom Brady.
or Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
To an extent.
Yeah.
Sony Michel not a good running back.
Darrell Henderson still partially injured.
Yes.
I think Henderson is a good running back. He put up good numbers.
Why has this team not re-signed Todd Gurley? Can we talk about that for a second? Like,
Todd
why does
Gurley's
Todd Gurley?
dog shit.
Yeah, I don't know why they'd want to.
I don't know. I would have signed Le'Veon Bell or Mark Ingram or whatever running back.
Trade for a guy like
right.
Miles Sanders. You could have Miles Sanders at this point, but apparently we don't want him.
So real
That's
quick,
true.
I know I want to get like power rankings from T-Bone before he gets out of here. Is the top 3? Who's your top 3?
Do you just want to give me my top 5?
Yeah, go for it, because I know who's your number 1.
It's
Might as well
Cardinals.
give us your top 30.
Well,
Okay,
30 is Jacksonville.
Ball
let me-
State.
Let me just
football.
pull this up. I don't want to.
Ball
Okay.
State. That
Okay.
was a
So
good one.
so number one. Number 1 is the Arizona Cardinals.
Okay.
Number
Kind of hard not to
2,
do that right now.
right? I mean, number 2. They didn't look great, but I still would have to. I think it's Tampa Bay. Just because it's still Tom Brady. You have to respect Tom Brady. Like, they're gonna look bad at times in the regular season. It's kind of like the Spurs effect. Like, you got to give them their props. They're still gonna be a better team, a good, well-coached, good team.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think it's. You guys are gonna be surprised. I think it's the Chargers.
Wow, over the Packers?
Then it's the Packers, and then I think it's the Bills.
Wow.
I was
Okay.
about to yell
Cowboys
at you if
being
you did not
6th.
put them. So
I
you
think
don't have the
Cowboys
Rams.
6th.
Where do you put the Rams then? How far down that line do you put the Rams now?
Like 7 or 8
7. Okay.
Where
I-
did you have them the week before? Because you
higher.
had 'em
4?
fall down. That's
3 or
an
4?
That's a
immaculate
hell of a
from
fall down.
grades.
Yeah, but I mean, I think I had Arizona at 4 or 5.
I
And
guess.
so for Arizona to jump that high after beating the team that was above them, I think it's similar to how the college teams would. You do it, you lose to still a ranked team. You're not going to drop that far, but
I'm mildly surprised you have the Bills as low as you have them, but that's just
Yeah.
my opinion.
yeah, that's
It's
fair.
not my power ranking, so I can't tell you where to put them. I can
Yeah.
yell at you, but we don't have enough time for that.
No.
Why don't you take the reins on your Packer game as well?
Okay, the Packers. Oh, let me get back to the scores. I don't want.
I got to do the same thing because then we're going to have to
Yeah,
go back up
yeah,
2 games.
Skip around a little bit here.
A little bit. That's okay.
Well, I mean, we also talked about the Eagles well before we were supposed to. But
That's
whatever.
because his screen
I know,
is different
I
than
know.
ours.
I know. I know. I'm just saying. Don't.
You're good.
I mean, the Packers look good. They looked in control of the game the whole time. There was times I was like, I don't know, is Big Ben going to figure it out? But Big Ben looks absolutely terrible. That man cannot throw the ball more than 10 yards. And that's generous. Najee Harris looks like a player. I'm sorry that he has to be with Big Ben. Hopefully they get a quarterback that can help him out. And they have good wide receivers. Deontay Johnson had a good game, I believe.
9 receptions for 92 yards and a tutty.
A touchdown, yeah. A.J. Dillon looked.
Really fucking good.
It looks like they're more going to not a running back by committee, but A.J. Dillon's going to beat the shit out of the team, and then to loosen them up, and Aaron Jones is going to take the little pass or run the ball in from the 5, or it. I'm not ready to say you can start either. Obviously, if you have Aaron Jones, you're starting Aaron Jones in fantasy.
100%. That's what I do in one of my leagues.
I think if you have to, it's starting to become more of a Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt situation than a running back by committee, where they're both serviceable. You have a clear number 1, but the number 2 has his usage.
Cowboys too, with Elliott
Right.
and Pollard.
Right.
Like-
I think it's a lot closer to Elliott Pollard than it is a running back by committee or a.
I would
Nick Chubb
compare
and
him to the
Kareem Hunt
Chargers.
are-
I would compare him to the Chargers backfield.
Ugh.
Austin Eckler and Roundtree.
You don't get to talk about Eckler. I don't. You
No,
you shit,
that's
you
why
shit
we're
on my
waiting.
guy.
That's why we're waiting.
That's
That's
I
why
love
we're
Austin
waiting until
Eckler.
you leave.
That's fine. I love Austin Eckler. I picked him up.
Do you
with
want him?
Melvin- Yeah, fine. I'll take him. I'm not going to overpay for him because you don't want him. You're not going to get me on that. But I mean, I was a fan of.
I need a
took
good trade
Eckler.
offer to let him go. I
I took Eckler when Melvin Gordon had his holdout a couple years ago, and people were like, "That's crazy." And Eckler was like, "No, I can do this," and he played
100%.
perfectly fine.
And that's why they let Melvin Gordon go and just said,
Right.
fuck it.
But I mean, the Packers, like I said, they seemed in control. Randall Cobb had a coming out party. Welcome back to Green Bay, I guess. That was cool to see. I mean, you
Two
can
tutties.
tell Aaron Rodgers looks for that fucker on third down.
No, 100%.
He's the only one who he threw to on third down. which I think is Aaron's point of I need the guys I can trust on third down to get. We're at 3rd and 7. Randall Cobb's at the 7.5 yard mark getting the first down.
Don't take this personally. I think Devontae Adams had one of his worst games as a Packer today or on Sunday.
Probably. He had what? I mean, he had what? 5 for 60 or 5 for 50?
He had 6 for 64, but on 11 targets, and 2 of them were drops. And granted, he does have the best hands, and I would say him and Keenan Allen have the best hands in the league.
I wouldn't say hands. I would say route running.
Yeah. Devontae Adams' strength is his route running.
Then
he
doesn't drop the ball very often.
He has good hit, right, because his route running is so elite, he's always wide open.
Correct. But I mean,
I understand what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
I don't think there's much more to say about this game because I mean the Steelers are bad.
Yeah, they didn't.
Yeah.
Like I said, at no point did you think the Steelers were going to come back and beat. Like TJ Watt does look still like he's hurt on that Rodgers scramble. Like TJ Watt usually should be able to catch him.
Oh, easily.
So yeah, I mean,
Big Ben should have retired.
Agreed.
All right. Well, at this point,
I do have to get out of here. So,
I think
boys,
we're losing T-Bone.
Adios,
Thank you for showing up.
Peace. Yep.
We'll talk to you tomorrow, bud.
Later, boys.
See ya. All right, good. He's gone.
Thank God.
Thank God.
Cardinals are a paper tiger. I'm dying on that hill.
Sweet Jesus. Why didn't you say that earlier?
Because I don't want him to
yell at me. So
I just hate that he's right so often. It's bullshit, David.
He's not right so often. He picked the Steelers to win that division. We have not given him any shit on that.
Oh.
I mean, you and me still look pretty good. But if the Bengals take that division somehow, oh my God.
Yo,
Jesus Christ.
That would be something.
I'd be all for it. I'd be all for it. I would be so for it. I love
imagine
Joe
if
Burrow.
they win a playoff game too, where like Marvin Lewis would like roll like off his couch in shock.
I still don't think Andy Dalton's won a playoff game.
No, he is not.
Because what other team is he? He's been on the Cowboys and just the Bears. Is that it?
Yep.
All right. Moving on to the other NFC West competition was the Seattle Seahawks traveled to what the hell city do they play in now? They don't play in San Francisco. I don't know where the hell they play.
Santa Mira or something?
Yeah. Santa Monica, something like that. The Seattle Seahawks traveled to San Francisco to take on the 49ers, successfully defeating them 28-21. Jimmy G left the game with a calf injury. They are saying he could come back as early as this weekend, but Trey Lance did have a very successful outing, in my opinion. 9 for 18, granted, is not great. 157 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like, he did look good, but he didn't look great. He looked like how he was supposed to look. Again, Trey Sermon finally looking like the running back that people were saying he was supposed to be coming out of college from Ohio State. Granted, they have no one else at running back. They have Jacques Patrick.
Jacques Patrick. What a name.
That is a good name. Where the hell did he come from, though? It's his first season out of Florida State.
He played for Florida State?
He did.
Never heard of anyone named Jacques Patrick.
I mean, even though in a loss, Deebo Samuel still, I mean, he's got to be close to him and Cooper Kupp are competing for number 1 in fantasy football numbers.
Deebo's been the steal for me this year. So
100%.
Oh, yeah.
8 receptions, 156 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Like, that man competed basically with the numbers of Tyreek Hill and Cordero Patterson this weekend, at least fantasy-wise.
Obviously, 2 of the most elite targets in the NFL, right?
Right. And I'm looking at these numbers and like, how did Seattle win this game? Russell Wilson threw for 149 yards and 2 touchdowns, but I mean, the rushing game didn't get going. Passing game wasn't really elite in any way, shape, or form. It looks like it was the defense.
Yep.
And that just sounds bizarre to say about the Seattle Seahawks because I still don't think Seattle's defense is that good, but they're at least improving. Jamal Adams is still one of the best safeties in the league. I mean, Bobby Wagner's still there, so he's still, I would say, he's not a lead anymore, but I would still give him top 10 nods at middle linebacker.
I'd agree. Like he's still a top linebacker in his position, but honestly, I think this just comes down to the fact that Jimmy G went out and, you know, the game plan wasn't for Trey Lance. Like maybe he was in the playbook somewhat, But I mean, Trey Lance is a rookie. He looked like a rookie at times, but also is showing the flashes that everybody thought he was going to have coming out of North Dakota State.
Mhm.
I think if either they game planned for Trey Lance going into this game or Jimmy G was able to finish the game, I think there was a much better chance that the 49ers were actually able to take this over the Seahawks. Because, yeah, you're right. Like, the numbers sheet doesn't lie, and it says that the Seahawks probably should have lost this game. So I think that inconsistency at quarterback and not having the right plan in place kind of sent them to their demise.
So how close do you think these two teams are to the other two NFC West teams? Is there a gap?
No, I mean, if there is, it's very small. Like the NFC West, as we thought was going to be the best division in football, it is the best division in football.
100%.
Like the lowest I could see one of these teams going is like 9-8,
Which is still a winning record.
which is which is incredible. I mean, like how many times does that happen where every team in a division has a winning record?
You're also going to see the possibility of an entire. Can you have an entire division go to the playoffs?
No,
No,
because there's only 2 wild card spots.
I thought there was 3.
No,
Hold on.
let's see.
I thought something changed at some point. Standings.
No, you may be right. I guess there is a chance if that rule is still true where there's 3 wild card spots.
You have. What the fuck?
Did they just do it 1 year? Because
No, they definitely carried it over.
Okay.
So the only team that gets a bye is the number 1 seed.
Yes.
So 2 would then face 7, 3 would face 6, and 4 would face 5. So you have 4 division winners, 3 wild card spots. It is possible that an entire one division can go. All teams can go to the playoffs. The likelihood
very low,
insanely low. But if there's any year that it is possible, it is this year with the NFC West. Well, the only reason I say it won't happen is they're gonna eat each other up. Like I think the Rams can come back and beat the Cardinals. I think any of these teams can beat the other team.
Like I think there's a very good chance. Like if all these teams are going to make the playoffs, like they would have to go 1-1 in all their division games.
Yeah.
Right. Like it would have to be dead even, and then they'd have to dominate their non-division games.
I would agree with that.
Like which I could realistically see happening. So yeah. No, it's going to be interesting looking forward. I love you, T-Bone. Still think the Cardinals have some losses coming. They won a game that they probably should have lost, but
say it with your chest next time.
We'll see how they look. No.
The next game is yours, bud.
All right. So we had the Ravens go in to face the Broncos. Speaking of paper tiger, the Broncos proved that after a 3-0 start, they have come back down to planet Earth and got eviscerated with a very strong with a very strong second quarter from the Ravens. Lamar Jackson had a pretty great day passing 22 for 37, 316 yards and a tutty. Latavius Murray.
Only his second 300-yard passing day of his career.
Really?
Yes.
Ooh.
100%.
Yeah, that also doesn't shock me too much.
No.
But Marquee Brown still looked pretty good. Latavius Murray still looks like a decent back in this league. But the Ravens just showed that they are a much better team on almost all levels than the Broncos, and the Broncos have come back to planet Earth. So
I still think the Broncos have opportunities to win games. Do I see them making the playoffs? Maybe. If they're going to make the playoffs,
AFC West, no way.
No, they're not going to win that division. No fucking way they're going to win that division.
They're not even coming in third in that division.
I think they can.
And there's no way they...
I think the Raiders, I think we need to put some respect on the Raiders, but I also don't think we need to put too much respect on the Raiders, which we will get to that when we talk about the Raiders.
I think the Raiders are a more polished team than the Broncos. The Broncos have
you also have to remember that Teddy Bridgewater got hurt in this game.
That's true. And they also lost their number 2 target, KJ Hamler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think in the offseason they go and get one more wide receiver.
Which is
probably
insane
in the draft.
because they've already spent so much at the wide receiver position with Hamler and Judy and Cortland.
Well, Jerry Judy, that's
young.
another person who's been out. So that's why, I mean, granted, they haven't beat anyone, like we said that before, but I still think this Broncos team is capable of winning 9 games, 10 games. And that's saying that they would have to lose. They would have to lose over half of their remaining games. What?
I think it's closer to like 5 to like 7 or 8 wins for this Broncos team.
That means they're going to go on a massive losing streak.
I think they will.
I think there's plenty of wins. Just not. It's going to be tough in their division. I think they can beat the Raiders. I do not think they can beat the Chiefs. Although, if the Broncos defense can make the Chiefs beat them in different ways, they have weapons and they can bracket certain ways to cover Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce. They have an opportunity, but I still don't see it as a realistic outcome to have the Broncos beating the Chiefs. The Chargers I think the Chargers are a top 5 team in the entire league. And I don't think that's really a stretch.
I mean, but with the Chiefs too, like they don't look like unbeatable. Like they don't look like the 2007 Patriots where they were just rolling in with every game. Like
who, the Chargers?
No, the Chiefs.
Oh yeah,
the Chiefs.
The Chiefs are definitely beatable. They're definitely not the team they were the last couple of years where that offense was so dominant. And I was trying to say that in the preseason, like in our preview shows, like, yeah, we thought they were going to win all of these games, but I was like, don't be surprised if they come down to earth and they're not as like phenomenally great, because the rest of this division is capable of coming up and doing better, because I think the Chargers are going to be good for years to come too. Their team is so young outside of their number one wide receiver in Keenan Allen, who I think is 29, 30. So other than that, I
think the line's a little old too outside of Slater.
Yeah, and they'll keep working it, but I mean, they have the right head coach now. I think they have one of the better defenses. They don't have an elite defense, but they have a top half defense.
They have a lot of good pieces on that defense.
They have a lot of good pieces, like their running backs with Austin Eckler. They have good receivers in both Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. Jared Cook is still a serviceable tight end, even with his older age. But like they have pieces everywhere. And I mean, I think that's no. Which one do you want first? Sunday's prime time or Monday night? Which one do you want to talk about first? You want to do Sunday's prime time first?
Yeah.
All right. We'll finish up on that division in a second.
Okay.
I think real quick, I think the Ravens are.
Oh, you're right. I guess we should just talk about Monday night because we are like talking about that division.
Right. And just to polish up that Ravens half of it, they did look good. I still think that division, as good as we thought this division was going to be, I see a world where Cincinnati can win this division.
Oh, I absolutely do. Like I think that division's more up in the air than a lot of other divisions in the league right now. Like I don't think Cleveland, I think Cleveland could be due for a few stinkers because of how their offense is centered around. Because they face any offense that can, pick apart that defense, they're kind of screwed because, you force Baker to throw the ball. You're not getting anywhere. The Ravens can only win a few different ways, and the Steelers don't look good. Like, there's a world where your Cincinnati Bengals are the AFC North champion.
I'm here for it. If they win the division, I'm definitely here for it.
I'd be so happy for Bengals fans.
That means they have to win a playoff game, though, because they haven't done that in ages.
Since it's the 90s.
Something like that. They definitely haven't won since 2000, because I keep referring back to that graphic. But
Marvin Lewis has never won a playoff game.
He's been to like 6 playoffs.
Yeah.
Which is insanity. But moving on to Monday night, we'll bounce back to Sunday night's game.
Sure.
The Las Vegas, I almost said Oakland. The undefeated Las Vegas Raiders travel to LA and SoFi Stadium to face the LA Chargers, losing in this effort 28-14. I enjoyed this game very thoroughly.
Don't forget, it wasn't just the Chargers. It was also the LA Lightning Bolts who came in and delay. Okay, sorry, that was a bad.
Yeah, let's start with that. So I turned on the game yesterday, and I'm like, all right, cool, I'm ready. I got a good snack. I'm sitting here. I got my soda. I'm ready to go. And all of a sudden, they're like, oh, we're in a weather delay, and I'm like, it doesn't matter what team is at home. They're in a dome.
Okay,
they have a roof.
So I actually found the reasoning as to why that is. Because it's a glass top roof, the league policy is that if lightning were to strike and shatter the roof and, rain glass on top of players and fans, that would not be a good look. So the lightning delay was justified for that reasons. But yeah, I mean, it is a closed stadium. A little weird,
but I mean, it's all right. They eventually got to play the first half. was, if I'm not mistaken, a dominant one from the Chargers. I'm going to bring up they scored 21 unanswered points in the first half, blanked them in the first half. Justin Herbert was dominant with 3 touchdowns in the first half. Little did we know he wasn't going to throw another touchdown pass in this entire game. But I mean, the real story of this game is I think Austin Eckler is a top 5 running back in this league.
Just trying to sell that trade, aren't you?
I'm going to keep selling it. T-Bone, if you're listening, he's a top 5 running back in this league. Did you see that video of him doing 1-arm pull-ups?
Yeah, but
insanity.
But I don't think he's top 5. Okay, so here. So running backs that are currently right now better than Austin Eckler. Derrick Henry. Christian McCaffrey doesn't count because he's injured. Dalvin Cook, even injured, Dalvin Cook is still a better running back. I think I take Aaron Jones over him. I take Nick Chubb over him.
Okay.
Jonathan Taylor's iffy. I still think I take Eckler over Taylor. God, I know I'm missing some people. Elliott.
I wouldn't put
I'm not going to oversell Elliott.
I'm not putting Zeke there.
I'll
bring up stats. And I'll name off a couple names for you.
Yeah, no, because I know I'm missing. So I'm running.
You're missing Mixon.
I still might take Eckler over Mixon.
Alvin Kamara.
Oh, Kamara. I definitely take Kamara over him.
Let's see. I think that's it.
Because
now you're starting to get into like Chris Carson.
Yeah, no.
So here's your people who have more rushing yards right now, and this is only rushing yards because he still also is a threat out of the back to catch out of the backfield. Derrick Henry, far and away the number 1 receiver with 510 rushing yards. Nick Chubb, 362. Joe Mixon, 353. Zeke, 342. David Montgomery, even hurt, 309. Alvin Kamara, 297. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 291. And then you get to Austin Eckler, who has 283 yards.
Yeah, I mean, you're overselling him, buddy.
I don't care if I'm overselling him or not. I still think he is his value because catching out of the backfield, that's only rushing yards. That has nothing to do with receiving yards. I still think Austin Eckler is proving that he is capable of being continuing to prove that he is a number 1 back in this league, and he is a top 10.
He's definitely
still saying top 5.
Like,
I'm still saying top 5. You can disagree with me. He's
definitely top half. He's definitely in the top 10, but definitely in like the lower of the top 10.
So is he? Would you call him the MVP of this game?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
at least we have that.
But that doesn't mean like he's better than like Derrick Henry or Alvin Kamara or Dalvin Cook right now.
He did single-handedly win this week for me because I was facing Justin Herbert. I was losing. I was losing by 6 points. And I was facing Justin Herbert. Austin Eckler, with like 3 minutes left in the game, broke off a 20-yard touchdown run to put me up by like 0.3 points, and then had that 20-yard run and ended up giving me a 2-point win against my opponent this week. Sorry, Ryan.
Oh, Saquon. I forgot about Saquon. I definitely think
I forgot about Saquon. I definitely wouldn't put him over Austin right now, though.
Oh, I would.
Like, he has to consistently show that he can come back.
Sure, but I still think Saquon's the better talent and has more potential.
I went too far. All right, we need to start speeding some of this up because we do have to talk about next week at least a little bit. As much hype as this game got, media hype, you got no hype out of me. I was not excited for this matchup at all for Monday night. The Buccaneers, Tom Brady's return to Foxborough to take on Bill Belichick, because that was the headline. Bill Belichick against Tom Brady.
Yep.
And you know what happened? Mac Jones showed up. He played very well. He outthrew Brady. He outthrew Brady, not by much. Brady threw no touchdowns. Brady threw no interceptions. The lone touchdown that was scored, is that really what the lone touchdown that was scored was on?
Defense?
They only had one touchdown? Ronald Jones had the only touchdown for the Buccaneers and a shit ton of field goals, it looks like.
Yep,
Yeah.
that sounds right.
Yeah, that's what it
Here,
looks
I'm looking
like.
it
So,
up here. So
Mac Jones is looking like
3, 7. Yeah, and 2 field goals in the fourth.
against what I've been saying, he does look like the best rookie quarterback right now. He played well against the Super Bowl champions, throwing 2 touchdowns, only 1 interception. Granted, he is a rookie. He is going to throw interceptions. But completing 31 of 40 passes for 275 yards is really impressive against, I mean, I guess is a really bad secondary because they had to go sign Richard Sherman, and then Charlton Davis III got hurt, as well. So, I mean, that is a very damaged secondary that they were going up against.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, the rushing game was non-existent for New England. You want to know how many yards they had on the ground?
It's probably like under 40.
Okay, you better go way lower than that.
It's lower than 40.
It's non-existent. It's actually so non-existent that it was -1 yards.
Oh,
rushing.
they pulled an Eagles. Nice.
They pulled an Eagles. Nelson Aguilar was your leading rusher with 4 yards. Mac Jones had -1 yards rushing. Damian Harris, 4 carries, -4 yards.
That's kind of impressive to go backwards for 1 yard every time.
So to say that it's impressive that New England still had a chance to win this game while rushing the ball, rushing for -1 yards on the entire day is impressive. That's all I have to say about this game, because it was exciting to watch a defensive struggle a little bit, but I mean,
It was more of a storyline game than an
Yeah.
actual good game, which is
100%.
unfortunate. I saw somewhere that like the Patriots gave out like almost triple the amount of credentials they normally do for this game.
Mm-hmm.
So
100%. Let's look at these real quick.
are we looking at games for upcoming week or?
I was looking at the banners real quick, and then I was going to go right to the games because, this is what I wanted to talk about. Are the Chargers a team to beat in the AFC West, or is it still the Chiefs?
No, right now it's the Chargers because
Okay.
the Chiefs have two losses and
Mhm.
I
And one of them is to the Chargers.
yeah, so it's the Chargers until proven otherwise. So I don't think it's fair to say that, but yeah.
And the reason I say it is that the Chargers have a more complete team. Granted, the Chiefs still have Patrick Mahomes, which if you have Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, you have a chance to win any game. Justin Herbert is starting to launch himself into that stratosphere of elite quarterbacks in the league. He's not there yet. I'm going to pump the brakes a little bit. He's not there yet, but he's starting to take steps into like the conversation of he's going to be a good quarterback for years to come. I think that the youth movement that's coming in is Kyler Murray, Josh Allen, and Justin Herbert. Who am I leaving out? Lamar.
Yeah, probably. That's the
Okay,
only
so
one I
that's
can think of.
4, and then I mean Patrick Mahomes is obviously already there. So that's your 5 quarterbacks that are probably going to run this league for the next 10 years until somebody proves us otherwise.
I mean, Dak maybe? Like
How old is Dak?
Dak's maybe a year younger than Carson Wentz, so 26, 27.
Is he that young?
Yeah.
I feel like he's been in the league for a while. It's 28.
28? Okay.
28. Oh, I didn't realize I timed out there.
Yeah, no, you're good.
So I mean, I think that's our young quarterbacks that are going to be taking over the league. Granted, Joe Burrow has the opportunity.
We'll see what these rookies are.
Yeah,
Like,
we don't know what these,
someone
Sam
out of there's
Darnold
gotta
could
hit.
actually turn into something,
Yeah.
but I don't think he will. Carson Wentz is garbage.
Still have hope for Jalen Hurts, but we'll see
Yeah.
after this year.
Daniel Jones looks bad. Jameis looks
Yeah.
bad. Tannehill, I mean, he's a little bit older.
He's like that
Rookie.
serviceable level.
Stafford's older. Wilson's starting to get older. Garoppolo is not it. Yeah, Teddy is not great. Yeah, I just went through the whole fucking league. Derek Carr maybe, but Derek Carr is starting to
Derek
creep on
Carr's
30.
getting older. Yeah.
All right, so looking at these upcoming games this week.
Okay, yeah. So there's a question, Davis. What game are you most excited for this coming week?
There's actually a lot.
Yeah, I would agree. There's a lot of good games on the slate here. Looking at
So
this.
let's start with the hometown game real quick.
Okay.
We're gonna cruise through this half.
Yeah.
Packers traveling to Cincinnati to face the Bengals. I think this is.
I'm not gonna lie. I think that's actually gonna be a really fun game.
I agree. It's also going to be a fun game. The line is set at 3 points towards Green Bay. I think it's going to hit about 3 points. I think Joe Burrow is going, especially if Jair Alexander is going to be out this game, because currently he is sitting on questionable.
Yeah,
because he had an AC joint injury, I think it was.
Oh.
So if he doesn't play and Kevin King is also out, your number one corner is now Eric Stokes, the first rounder this year. I think Joe Burrow can start passing on this. And if that's what the case is, that you don't have that, you still don't have Zadarius Smith. That defense is starting to get damaged real fast. Joe Mixon can run on this team because the Packers have the last couple of years have been very susceptible to a good running game.
Yep.
And Joe Burrow has a lot of weapons, not just Tyler Boyd. They still have T. Higgins. They still have Jamar Chase. They have a lot of weapons. I think this is going to be a lot closer game than everyone thinks. But
I mean, the line shows that they think it's going to be a very close game too. I mean, because realistically, Packers are with home field like 6-point favorites.
Yeah, 5 or 6. I think home field gives you 3 points.
Yeah. So
I mean, going through these, I mean, Rams Seahawks is another NFC West battle. I want to say this is going to be a close game, and it probably will be, even though I don't think it will be. I think the Rams could run away with that game fast, but knowing the Seahawks, they never really just die right away. So I think it's going to be a closer game, but I still think there is a big possibility that they could bust this open to a 3-possession win.
Bills Chiefs looks like it'll be a good game. Browns Chargers, I'm actually kind of excited for.
You're gonna laugh at this. I don't want to watch this game, but I know there's gonna be some storylines around this. Broncos and Steelers, those two defenses. You know how the line is set at 39.5. I've never seen a line under 40. 39.5, and they got Pittsburgh.
Wow.
They have Pittsburgh favored. I think the Broncos win that game.
I think there's a good chance. Like if you're asking me who I take, like Ben Roethlisberger or if Bridgewater plays, but
Jacoby. Or no, I'm on the wrong team. I looked immediately to the next game. My dumbass. It would be either Bridgewater or Drew Lock.
Yeah, so it's sad to say, but like at this point in his career, I think it's more of a toss-up than Ben Roethlisberger fans would like it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
that's defense against defense. Dolphins Buccaneers is going to be a bloodbath. Saints
Are
Washington.
You still on the sorry? Are you still on the ESPN version for week 5?
Yeah.
So like, can you see like the ticket prices and what they're going for right now?
Yeah.
You see how low
Lions Vikings is?
Lions Vikings and
$30. Oh God, Titans Jaguars?
Yeah, it's like $23.
Holy shit.
Oh my God, they can't give tickets away in Jacksonville.
No, apparently not. That's hilarious.
Oh my God,
though.
I would kill to have it, but like brand new stadium for the Raiders, $206 the lowest ticket you could buy.
Yeah, and that's only the Bears coming into town.
Yeah, right. So imagine if it's like, so let's see here. So
you're going down a rabbit hole. You're going down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, I'm going down a rabbit hole.
Get out of the rabbit hole. Get out of the rabbit hole.
Oh, so they're in Denver. So let's check week 7. Sorry. Keep talking. I'll.
Okay, I'm gonna keep talking.
Blah blah blah.
Miami is traveling to Tampa to take on the Buccaneers. I don't think that game's gonna be close. I think 10 is too lenient of a line. Don't think that game's gonna be any good. Saints Washington. They have New Orleans favorited.
Oh no,
they have New Orleans favorited on the road against Washington. I think Washington actually wins that game. You're going to get all of these picks. You're going to get all of these picks this Sunday, by the way. We are, if anybody is watching this and you want to be on the show and do picks with us, we're going to start recording everybody's picks, and whoever has the best record at the end of the season, we're going to be giving away free merch that I am going to run by the boys, and we're going to create together. So if you want to be on the show, you want to win free merch, definitely either hit me up, Tyler up, or T-Bone up, or anybody who really comes on this show and say, hey, I want to be on your Pick'em show. I want to try and win free shit. Definitely come on and pick some games with us. It's actually a lot more fun than you think because we get to yell at each other all the fucking time.
Oh, okay. So Davis, I got it. So week 10,
I'm still listening.
The Chiefs come into town and play the Raiders. Let's see if you can guess the ticket price without going over. Don't look.
The Chiefs going
so
to the Raiders.
The Chiefs are going to the
I'm not
Raiders.
going
So
over
in
the
that brand new
camera.
stadium, good team coming in, should be a good game.
The lowest ticket price will be $485.
Ooh, you should have stuck with your first guess. $349.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's the Chiefs coming into town, division rival. It's warranted. Looking at these games, I know you want to talk about it because we're both Eagles fans, so we're going to talk about it because even though T-Bone doesn't like it, we talk about them anyway. Eagles Panthers on the road. Carolina's favorite 3.5.
Must-win game for the Eagles.
Must-win game for the Eagles. And if they lose this game, I don't think they tank, but I think they start really testing the waters on, like, should they go for another quarterback or should they get an elite wide receiver, an actually elite wide receiver? If they really seem like they're done with these running backs, do you go and get one of these running backs out of college, or what do they do with this?
See, I think so. It'll be great because if you do end up sucking this year, you're probably guaranteed a top 10 pick.
Sure.
Let's say everything goes perfect and you do get a first round pick for the Colts, and I don't think if they start sucking that they'll just give the pick to the Eagles. So let's say best case scenario, like you'll get like pick 13 or 14 from the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the Dolphins, if the Dolphins continue to stink it up, there's a possibility you can get another top 10 pick there. So you can get some good players.
Mm-hmm.
Where I would go is I would ideally not like them to go to quarterback. Like, that's why I want Jalen Hurts to succeed so bad, because then we could use those on other blue chip players, maybe on the defense or on the offensive side of the ball. I would like going receiver again, and I would definitely like actually maybe looking at like a Micah Parsons or like an Isaiah Simmons style linebacker for this team. I think they really need like a really young, solid, aggressive leader on that defense. They're sorely missing that.
Yeah, because their defensive leader for so many years was Malcolm Jenkins.
Yep, who's now on the Saints.
And then it was maybe Fletcher Cox.
Yeah, and Fletcher Cox has been a shell of himself for the last 5-6 years or so.
As much as it pains me to say, Devontae Smith does look good, but the next pick in that draft this year was Micah Parsons, and he is looking like a godsend to the Cowboys.
Right.
Because he is playing damn near every position out there.
Yeah, and I'm like, fine, whatever. But like the Eagles have never favored the linebacker position, which was fine under Jim Schwartz, whose scheme doesn't, benefit linebackers. But what Jonathan Gannon's scheme so far has looked like is that, hey, you need a good linebacker out there. You need fast, speedy linebackers. And so far, those guys ain't it, dog.
No. And looking up and down the rest of this, looking up and down the rest of this slate this week, the marquee game of the week is far and away Bills Chiefs. I don't think
100%.
it's even close. And
Yeah.
you know what? They have Kansas City favored in this game. I think that is wild for a team that just came off of. Let me see what the rest of their scores are. So they gave up 21 to the Washington football team. They have shut out 2 teams this year, by the way. They shut out both the Texans. Yeah, they shut out the Dolphins. The Bills did.
That's right.
35-0 and 40-0. They put up 43 points against the Washington defense, which, say what you will. And then they lost to the Steelers, which now looks like an anomaly.
Yep.
So, I mean, I think coming into that Sunday night game, or Monday night, is it Sunday night? Sunday night game, I think the Bills should be favored in this game only because on a neutral site, the Bills would be favored. They have Kansas City 2.5.
Yeah.
So I think Buffalo still wins this game. I think the Bills are going to be able to throw all over that team.
Yeah, the Chiefs haven't showed that I should pick them in a game like this. Yeah,
I think it's going to be a shootout.
Yeah, until they actually win one of these games, I'm not picking the Chiefs.
That's fair. You got anything else, bud? We're running out.
No, I mean, we didn't get enough time for fantasy talk, so maybe we could do some quick last minute substitution talk on Sunday or something.
Yeah, I'm definitely all for that. We will, and like I said before, we are a couple announcements for this week. Tomorrow, so instead of Thursday is our normal day for college football now. We will be debuting that episode or debuting that version of the show tomorrow, Wednesday, and then it will from then on be Thursdays at 6. Tomorrow at 6 is current, and then you will see me and that pretty face over there on Sunday. And we will be picking them, and we will have a special guest on the episode as well and do special guest pickers. Last week we had Matt Faraci. Thank you again, and congratulations for the New York Jets winning the Super Bowl.
More like the toilet bowl, but hey, whatever.
I mean, but I mean, do you got anything else, bud?
I'm good.
All right.
Go Birds! Go Birds!
Go Birds! Go
Very
Birds.
hard to say it. It gets harder each and every week, but go Birds!
Yeah, but the other issue is your Go Birds could also come into play with the Cardinals. Oof.
I never said what team I was rooting for.
Also, just to put this in real quick, Cisco, the Boston Red Sox are beating the New York Yankees right now 2-0 in the wild card game.
I didn't know the Red Sox were playing the Yankees. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I want the Red Sox to win. I hate the Yankees.
That's a storyline on a storyline on a storyline. So, Cisco, if you're tuning in, go Sox. 100%.
Go Sox, baby.
But you know what? For T-Bone, I'm Kyle Davis. That's Tyler Wonke. This is Davis Sports Dude, and we'll talk to you soon. Later, guys.
Hurst, eat that W, Philly. Put it on his head. Says Wesley Matthews Jr. Dodgers win! Finally, the wait is over.
What's going on, guys? And we're back with the Davis Sports Feud, and I got my buddy Corey Sparks here.
Ball crossed up, definitely pushed by Paul George. Everything's been pushed these days.
I just don't think this offense is going to work very well, especially under a defensive coach like Robert.
But I would still probably take like Najee Harris over one of the wide receivers.